Hey, what's up YouTube, and welcome back to another TPX reviews. Today's review is an incredible rarity. This drink is a 2007. It was copyrighted in 2007 and discontinued probably shortly after. So it's old. It's super old. It was around back before I even started collecting in 2008. It was like a year shy. This can could possibly be right from that era. It's not like it was made in 07 and this is maybe like an 08 or an 09. I don't really know. It's dated 07 on the bottom, the person I got it from, and it's super rare. This is basically, if you saw my other review of the original, you'll know the story. Lost is basically a company out of California, and they are a skateboarding, snowboarding, surfing, everything. They're just a big, they're a big sponsor of all kinds of sports and everything. So they decided, kind of like what Monster is today, but back then, I don't know if Monster had a heavy sports division. So Lost was kind of their. They weren't enemies at the time because Monster didn't know they were going to get into it, if that's even really true. So anyways, Lost teamed up with Monster, Hanson's Beverage, and made this energy drink that they figured maybe it would be good for the athletes, and the people who they sponsored could drink it. So the people who were on tour and performed and did their sports on TV and whatever, the X Games or whatever, they could drink a Monster but branded by Lost. So they thought it'd be a great idea, and this one is called Cadillac, and it's a one-of-a-kind lime-flavored Monster that never saw the light of day. Monster never thought of making this their own flavor because they made it for Lost, but they never thought it would be a good seller for them. But I'm sure that that's quite totally wrong, and this is actually quite delicious. So here we are. We have some really cool designs, just like every Lost seems to have. We got some skeletons on the side. Looks like they're having a party in the. This is kind of like the Cuba Lima. As you can see, it's based off of it's a Mexican tequila or margarita theme, or at least we'll find out when we get to the back. So over here it says about 100 miles south of the Tijuana, Real Mexico, begins pristine beaches, fish tacos, chicas, and little cantinas where the tequila and cerveza flow like water. On our last trip down, burnt out from an all-day surf session, we decided to mix some imported, smuggled Lost energy drink with everything that they had in the local cantina, sometime just before dawn. Lost Cadillac was born. Now you can relive our experience without the hangover, dusty roads, and shakedowns. Lost Cadillac, as close as you can get without the alcohol. Feel free to add your own, or the hassle. Tastes great, mixes better. And that's basically this. That sums it up quite. Sounds quite familiar to Cuba Lima, kind of mixed with the Rehab. Kind of funny. Yeah, it's kind of got a similar theme going on. Ride all day, rage all night. Yeah, so it's basically based around alcohol. It tastes, from what I know, it tastes like a margarita, from what I remember, and something like that. Yeah, some kind of lime flavored tequila. I don't know, some kind of crazy mixture of all of that. Now, whether it's still good, who knows? This is an old can. The contents could have, gotten kind of icky. Don't know what to expect from this, so we're gonna tackle this to kind of play it by ear. As you can see here, 550 Monica Circle, Corona, California. That is Monster's facility. They just didn't mention Monster on their can, and on this particular can, they didn't mention that they teamed up with Monster. But if you go back to the original Lost original, it here's the date. It does mention it makes a nod at Monster and that they teamed up with them. So let's crack it open after God, however many years, 2007. That's a long. It's like six. That's a long time. That's about 8 years. So let's take a whiff, and it still looks pretty good from what I could see. See if it smells good. Yep. So it kind of smells a little bit like heavy metal. If you guys remember what heavy metal smelled like, it's like an appley lime kind of monster, and yeah, it's got a really strong lemon, not lemon at all, very strong lime, almost like a Jolly Rancher lime, lollipop lime. Wow, yeah, it takes me way back. This really does smell a lot like heavy metal, though. It's very similar. This is kind of the Monster's only. Heavy metal was kind of its only real, I guess you could say, attempt at a lost Cadillac. I wonder if they even took some of the leftover and filled it up, but they made all this for Lost, and they didn't sell, and they just put it in a giant 32-ounce can and called it heavy metal. If that's true, I have no idea. But pours out a wicked cool green, which you don't see often in any drinks anymore, but it looks just like heavy metal. So, but yeah, I'll be quite sad if this is actually just heavy metal after all, and after all these years, and otherwise, yeah, this you could just. So this is kind of pointless right here, but yeah, let's take a sip. Okay. Wow. That is a nod at heavy metal, but not heavy metal. That tastes like the beginning of heavy metal, but it finishes off a lot smoother, and it's a little more tart and sour than heavy metal. It doesn't have that weird kind of aftertaste that I feel that heavy metal had. A lot of people said that it tasted like ham at the end. I don't taste that with this. It's a nice smooth kind of. It's a much more improved flavor, I would say, over the heavy metal flavor. They were both born around the same time. I feel like this is possibly, I mean, when you look at the theme of heavy metal, we're for rockers. Cadillac is for people who want to try a drink that's a concoction of different flavors from a cantina in Mexico, with tequila and all that stuff. But it's a strong lime, like lemon tart lime flavor. Maybe a little apple, but most lime. I mean, it's green, for God's sakes. So it's definitely strong on the lime melon kind of flavor. Yeah, that's the best I can describe it, lime melon. But it's got a much more tart finish than the heavy metal, and I like it even more. Let's try it from the can, and always tastes even better. Wow, that is really good. It's like Cuba Lima mixed with heavy metal, or I don't even know. It's just super good. It looks like heavy metal. I think it tastes a little bit like heavy metal, and it's a lot cheaper. It doesn't come in, at least for shipping purposes. This actual can was not cheap at all. It's rare, so it was expensive, but I think heavy metal is still cheaper to get in 32 ounce, but the shipping cost will kind of balance that out, equal it out. Quite funny, but nonetheless, this is delicious, and it gets a 10 for me, definitely, hands down. They don't make drinks like this anymore. They don't have heavy metal anymore, and they don't have this anymore. So Monster's done with this type of concoction, if you want to say. They threw away this recipe. I'm sure they still have it. They just don't produce it anymore. I would like to see a rehab maybe redone in this fashion, but it's like a juiced, but without the juiced. It's got that, it tastes like original Monster with the hint of lime. Well, more like a blast, like a lime juice straight up poured in here. Maybe like a mixer like a lime mixer juice or something like that. Yeah, it gets a 10. It's super delicious. Takes me way back to when I found this at the store, and it was quite rare. Definitely a better heavy metal, if I could. That's the best I can describe it. It's a crazy monster lemon lime, just apple, crazy mixture of just tastes like tequila, margarita. It's really good. One of my favorites and most attractive looking can. Side note: they never made this can with the old text. This is kind of they came out with the the bubbled rounded text, and then they went right to this. And Cadillac didn't come out in time. This particular can, this flavor might have been a little newer in the Lost line, so it actually could be an 08, 09, even a 10. And it's just that it's whenever they decided to change their text is how old this is, and maybe the 07 is just a nod at the the old original copyright date. But nonetheless, it's definitely a monster through and through, with flavors of pretty much heavy metal. So yeah, it's a heavy metal brother or sister, whatever you want to call it. It's very delicious. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll give you one last look at that crazy green color. Kind of reminds me of nuclear waste or something. It looks really cool. And the most impressive thing is the shelf life on this thing. It still tastes fresh and new, and if anything, the age might have added a little more of a sour taste to it, but it's even better. I can't confirm if it changed due to date, but it's still delicious. So thanks very much for watching, guys, and yeah, thanks for taking the trip with me back in time to one of the drinks back in the energy drink craze from 07. This is a very rare drink, and hope you guys appreciate that I archived it for you and put it down with the rest of all the crazy rare drinks that I got on here, like KMX from 2001. So yeah, cool. All right, guys, peace.